Well guys, to be honest, it's been a while since I've been out here. This is my first day off and it'll be 3 weeks total. So I worked 1 week, a whole weekend, another week. This is my day off. Then I gotta work a whole nother week. So 1 day off in 3 weeks. So it's time to make a little bit more progress on this. We're gonna go ahead and we gotta get the electrical done. So this is rated at 21 amps. It looks like they use 12 gauge wire on this, which 12 gauge is rated for 20 amps. Chances are this thing will never pull full amperage unless something trips out. So we'll use 12 gauge wire for 20 amps. We're gonna hook it to a 20 amp breaker and be done with it. So I gotta go get the electrical parts for that. So it's gonna consist of some SO cord, some cord grips, and yeah, for the panel as well. I also have to get the fittings for the air water separator / pressure regulator. So yeah, we're probably gonna mount that right about there. You saw in the other clip. So I have to get fittings in order to make it over there. So I'll get some measurements and some rough estimates and just to get some ideas. So we're just gonna go get a multitude of fittings. Whatever we don't use, we'll take back and get our money back for it. So it's not too big of a deal, to be honest. So here we go.
One hour later.
All right guys, so we're back from Home Depot. We got ourselves some SO cord. We got some fittings for that. They're the wrong size, but we're gonna fix that. We bought a whole bunch of fittings and stuff like that. And we have to use those fittings. So we said that we wanted this somewhere right about here, right? But the thing is these fittings are pre-made. We're not cutting our own pipe fittings. So we have to basically get it as close as we can, and it'll kind of dictate where we end up over here. And then we'll bolt this to this where we end up. All right, so coming out of here, we're gonna use a regular 90 and what's called a close nipple. Now, if you wanted it even closer, you could use what's called a street 90. Now that is used in all kinds of different plumbing, be it PVC, black iron, anything like that. Street means basically it fits into the other thread, which will also, it'll also close the orifice. Basically, if we use a street 90, it makes this opening smaller that goes inside here.
You know what happened with the DRE?
No, a street 90. A street 90, it's like this, not gangster. It's so. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and try to fit this plumbing together. I might have to run back and get more fittings. I don't know, because basically at the store I just kind of laid it out in the cart and guessed where it was gonna land at. So let's go ahead and get started on our plumbing and our electrical. All right, so there's basically two methods to joining pipe fittings. That is with a, we call it pipe dope in the trade, or this is called a multi-purpose thread sealant. You can buy this at any Home Depot, Lowe's, anything like that. That you just open it up it's like toothpaste. You just kind of put it on there and then thread it together and it'll seal the fitting. Or you can use thread tape. Now, thread tape, whenever you go to wrap it, you point the threads at you and make sure that you wrap it going clockwise. Okay? Now what you're gonna do, clockwise. Now the reason why you want to do it clockwise is here. If you're turning the fitting in, you want it to pull it into the threads. If you wrapped it counterclockwise, it would unravel on you. You see what I'm saying? It would unravel and bunch up. That's not what you want. You want it to pull into the threads, and you also want to make sure whenever you start wrapping that you start, well, not start, you can start here or not, it doesn't really matter, it depends on which end you start at. I always start at the end though. So you want to do it like a thread back at least, okay? A thread, maybe 2 threads. Now some people, whenever they, oh my gosh, my hands aren't working today, what the heck? Okay. Let me just wrap this real quick to show you. Okay. So if we wrap this like this, a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll run it all the way till the very end or a little bit over. But what happens is whenever you thread it into another fitting, so when you thread it into another fitting, what happens is if you look inside of it, you'll see a bunch of little fringes of the tape inside the board, and you don't want that. There's a lot of people I see screw that up all the time. So what can happen is that can get dislodged, that can get stuck in, you know, your regulators, it could get stuck in your tools, it could get stuck in everything. So always wrap in a clockwise fashion, and always start a thread or 2 back if you do it. And you do 2 to 3 wraps on that, okay? 2 to 3 wraps, I mean, like, you know, so I got 2 on there now. This would be 3, right? So easy enough. Now, contrary to popular belief, there's a difference, a huge difference between these two. So this is multi-purpose thread sealant. It lubricates a little bit to help it go together, and it also provides sealant. Now, thread tape, on the other hand, this is a big misconception. A lot of people think this is the same thing. It is not. This is called Teflon tape. Now, most people that know anything about Teflon, most people will think about, say, pots and pans. Now, why is it on pots and pans? It is there to provide anti-stick, right? So you can move the food around, nothing sticks to it. Teflon. So basically this is a lubricant. This doesn't aid in sealing. What it does is it relies on the mechanical sealing of the metal to metal. But this is a lubricant basically in order to be able to put them together easier. That's all it is. Teflon, remember that. Okay, what I did was I just used a vice grip to hold this, the regulator up temporarily. And it looks like with the parts I bought, we're gonna be pretty close to where we wanna be. I can't believe I eyeballed it that good in the store. even without a tape measure, but it's gonna be really close. So we're gonna keep pressing on and see where we get. All right, as you can see here, we're pretty much done with the plumbing here. I don't have anything on the outside, so whenever you're installing these, be sure that you notice there's always an arrow for the airflow, or it says in and out. This one here has it cast into it where it says in and out, but sometimes there's like an arrow cast into the top or on the side. You have to be sure of that whenever you're mounting these. But as you can see, this part's pretty much done. We got to drill and tap some holes, or just drill holes and mount that, so that'll be secure. And see, you got plenty of room to adjust it and everything like that, so we're good on that. We got to install the pressure gauge still, which that is still in the package here. That will go right on the front just like that. Yeah, but I have to figure out what I'm doing with the outside. I don't know if I'm going to make a manifold over to the side, or if I'm going to just run a fitting out of it. Like, I don't really know yet. I got to think about that. All right, now that we got all of this where we want it, we're going to go ahead and mark this and drill the holes. Now, we'll just take our magic marker and mark where we want the holes, which I am on that side, right about there. Okay, so then go ahead and break our union. Break our union loose. Okay, like that. Okay, we'll take a hammer and a punch. We'll mark these spots. That. And like that. Okay, now I'm going to use these little bits I have. Now, I've had these for quite a while. I have some spare backups, but these are Greenlee. There are a bunch of other companies that make them. There's Milwaukee, there's knockoff ones at Harbor Freight if you want to get some, but these are pretty freaking amazing. Now, these bits are awesome. I don't know if you could see that. Let's get this thing to focus. Come on. Why won't you focus? Well, anyway, so see, it has the drill bit right here, see? Then it has the threading section, come on. Then it has the threading section, and then if you so choose, you can also countersink your hole. These are sweet bits, and they go right in an impact. Today we're going to be using quarter 20. That's what we're going to be using. Let's get some oil. Something I really like using for cutting oil is old gum containers. I mean, these are the little pop top ones. So I just dip it in there and then use it. It works pretty good, and they seal really well. So you don't really got to worry about it dumping all over the place, which is pretty sweet. Tough steel. We'll get us a little more cutting fluid right there. Round 2. Now see, we broke through with the drill bit. Now we'll tap it. Simple as that. Look at that. Now you drilled and tapped a hole, and then if you so choose, like I said, you could also countersink it, but we don't really care about that. gonna go ahead and put a nut on the back side. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is a threaded hole. Well, essentially what that will do is double nut it, basically. So, the thing is this thing's gonna vibrate and stuff, and I don't want this coming loose, so that's the reason I'm doing this. Now, for the outlet of the dryer, for now, I just got this reducer bushing right here, a little brass one. It goes from 1/2 inch to 3/8. And the reason for that is because the fittings I have like this is a nice, I've had these I've had these extra fittings for years, but this is a nice high quality fitting. Most of them only have 4. This one has 6 balls on the inside. It's a higher quality unit until you drop it, apparently. So, come on. Yeah, Home Depot's really proud of their fittings. This one fitting made by Everbuilt comes from Home Depot. They, yeah, it was like over $4. So yeah, they're pretty proud of it. So just like all of our other fittings, we're gonna use this. Now eventually, like I said, what I'm gonna do is I'll probably get a manifold. I had my eye on one over from Northern Tool. Really simple, just a block with a bunch of holes bored in it. Or I could make my own, but it's probably a lot easier just to get one off the shelf. So here, let's bring you guys over here. All right, yeah, so like I said, we're putting this reducer bushing in here for this fitting right here. It's just gonna be direct. Eventually I wanna mount like the manifold probably right here or something like that. Now, when you're using fittings, any kind of plumbing fittings like this that require thread, now a lot of people would just thread this in here and then they would like crank on it with a wrench, right? Well, you don't want to do that. You want to fill it with something. And the reason you want to fill it is because quite often, quite often what'll happen if you crank on this, it'll egg it out. So the pressure from the wrench or whatever will make this no longer round. Okay, I've had it happen to me before on, it was black iron that it happened on. And yeah, it's no fun because then you have to either be able to bend that back or find new fittings. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna thread that like that. And then we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna thread this on as well, so we don't egg it out. Just like that. Now we'll tighten the whole works together. Okay, so what we bought for this was 12/3 cord because we need 2 hots and a ground, okay? So I bought these. Now they were all out of the correct size. We need 1/2 inch. These are only 3/8. So what we'll do is we'll just drill them out, which is no big deal. See, that means the hole in the middle. See, it doesn't fit over the SO cord, but it's close. So I'm just gonna drill that out real quick. What I'm gonna use is I got some stud bits. I'm just gonna use these. Got to get the hardware out of the way. Like that. We'll just hold on to it with some channel lock pliers, I guess. That should work just fine. If I can get them to cooperate. Okay, there you go. Just pop the hole out bigger. And let's do a test fit. Where's the wire? There it is. We'll just do a test fit. It can fit, but it's a little tight. So we'll take it out to the next size. Kind of like that. There we go. Test fit the wire. Perfect. Look at that. I buy a lot of these little razor knives from Harbor Freight. I really like them. They're, you know, they're small, they're dirt cheap. I think they're like 29 cents or something. Right next to the cash register. Yeah, they're pretty awesome. So, go ahead and get your length on the wire that you think you need. So, right there. And we'll just strip the jacket back. You want to be careful like doing this, because you don't want to nick the wires. This is how I do it. This is how I've done it for a long time. They do have special jacket cutters, which I've actually owned before. They're pretty awesome, but you got to make sure to set the depth correct on the blade, or else you will shred the wires inside. And if you're trying it for the first time, it's kind of sketch sometimes, but you just got to pay attention to what you're doing, and you know, they're pretty effective. But I just always use a razor knife because I can control it a little easier. Okay, pull your jacket. Remember, we got 3 wires. So if this were, say, a 120-240 setup, we would have 4 wires. Now, the reason for that is you would have 2 hots, a neutral, and a ground. So in order to get 120 volts, you need 1 hot, 1 neutral, and a ground. 240 volts is 2 hots and a ground. But if you need both of them, you got to have 2 hots, a neutral, and a ground. So these will be our 2 hots. This is our ground. Now, let's see. We could use these cheap. We'll see if these work. Usually these are fairly dependable. I do have better strippers, but I like this style for the crimper end on them. Jesus Christ! I'm trying to sell it to you guys and I can't even open it. Okay, it had a lot of paint on it holding it together. Okay. No, I like these because of the crimper end on it. They've always served me they've always served me pretty well. So, yeah. Oh, come on, man. Jeez. You gotta have an advanced degree in physics or something to open this packaging. Oh my God. Okay. Whenever you go to strip your wires, each one of these, I don't know if you could see it. Come on. Well, inside, so it's plastic, and then you could see the little metal inside you could see the little metal inside where you crimp down on it. You just need, so the extra part is where the jacket of the wire needs to be pushed into. It's to keep, you know, anything from touching bare copper. Quite often you'll see these little connectors where people strip the wire way back and there'll be copper hanging out of it, and it's like, dude, you do not want that. You don't want it right at the edge either. What you need to do is just strip enough copper to where it's in the metal inside, but the jacket is still inside the plastic part. So here, we'll show you guys that right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mark it with my finger how far back I need to strip it. Yeah, which is just that little bit right there. So that's only like, I don't know, 1/4 inch or so. Kind of like that. And we'll strip, well, I should have stripped the two hots first, because the neutral we might have to cut off, shorten it up. So you just kind of eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want it as close as possible. Now the ground will probably have to be cut short because it's down right where the wire goes into this junction box. So we'll go ahead, feed this through like so. Okay. Make sure we got enough in there to reach both of our landing spots on the terminal. Okay. Now we'll go ahead and put the remainder, where'd it go? Here it is. We'll go ahead and put this guy together in order to hold our spot on our wire so it's not fighting us while we put it together. Crankcase is full, belt's adjusted, plumbing's done, everything is done. So right now what we're gonna do is I have my phone set up with the stopwatch here, and we're gonna see just how long it takes to fill this up to 135 PSI and have it shut off. Because like I said, this is an 18 CFM pump, so, or 18.1 or 18.2. It's pretty high for a 60-gallon air compressor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and do a time test on it to see just how long it takes to fill this 60-gallon tank up. So here we go. Wow. Look at that, guys. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. We could easily say that it just takes 3 minutes to completely fill this 60-gallon tank from 0 psi to 135 psi. That's that's pretty good in the scheme of things. That's really good. Wow, I'm really impressed. And we have no air leaks, anything like that. I haven't adjusted the regulator yet, but here we can do that. Here we go, 120 psi. This stops at 135, so. But yeah, no leaks. Everything's great. It pumps up really fast. It's a little louder than I thought it was going to be, but I mean, I may eventually still put it outside in a shed or something like that, but for now, this is going to work great. It doesn't take up too terrible much room in here. I mean, obviously, room is at a premium inside of a 2-car garage, but this is going to work great for now. Man, that's awesome. I'm pretty excited about this. Well guys, thanks for hanging out with me for the install of this air compressor. I'm super excited to get another one. I had one up north where I live before, but I didn't quite make it down here whenever I came down south. So this one, a high CFM pump that it's got, combined with the 60-gallon tank, I'm pretty sure is going to meet the demands of anything we need, be it for air tools, sandblasting, painting, anything we need. This is probably going to fit the bill. It's going to work great for all of our car and truck projects, anything we got going on in the shop. So go ahead and hit me with a like and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. The next video, I'm really hoping we're going to tear into some stuff for the car. We got some parts in. I got a little pile of parts. I'm waiting on some other ones. Apparently there's a higher lead time on some of them. That combined with all the hours I'm working, it's made my upload schedule very sporadic. I need to get an actual schedule set so I can get you guys content at a regular schedule, and I apologize for that. But stick with me guys, because we got a lot of awesome stuff coming down the pipeline, and I think it's gonna be a really exciting adventure. Stick around guys, come back next time. Peace.